Stop saying the ancient Greeks were enlightened because there was gay sex. Because the actual context of this is pretty fucked up. First, let's look at the women. In Athens, women weren't considered legal persons. They weren't allowed to leave the house. They weren't allowed to be involved in public life, only left the house during festivals or whatever. They were segregated ideologically and physically. Essentially, they were considered property, no different than a household object or a goat. Their sole purpose was to produce legitimate male heirs. Because the women were so looked down upon, relationships between men were seen as a higher form of love, a relationship between equals. But this wasn't even like homo-romantic love. It was like weirdly bureaucratic and authority based because it was based on a mentorship between older men and younger boys. This was called pederasty. And though I love Greek mythology, the myths themselves reflect this. Female goddesses were often just set pieces for the male gods. They just reacted to them. They were the victims, wives, or mothers. They often were not given agency, identity, character, or anything. And that's something that I'm trying to correct in my novel that I'm currently working on. See cover here. Trying to actually portray how a Bronze Age woman would live within society. Even if they didn't have power within Grecian society, they had influence because of the relationships. And marriage is a purely economic transactional relationship between a man and a woman. There was no same-sex marriage in ancient Greece. It was about procreation and property transfer. So their acceptance of gay relations was more about patriarchy and misogyny than it was actually about accepting gay people. So no, the Greeks unfortunately were not enlightened because they had gay sex. It was just a weird reflection of the time period that they lived.